Hi, this is Chong Kim, and I want to show you something. I have a tmux session on the left, and I have a Vim window on the right. And if I type something into Vim, I'm able to send that line to tmux. And I have it set up so that if I type CE, it will send that over. You can see that there. Okay, so if I do ls, for example, and I could send that there. This is useful because it's not just to the shell. If I had a SQL prompt, then I could open up a file set for SQL, and I'm able to say something like select one and send that over, and I could get a response. So I'll tell you how I set this up. But first, you have to know something about tmux. So I have tmux running here. Let me just exit out. Okay. So if I start up iterm and I type tmux, I type tmux with -cc, so it's integrated with my iterm, but this will work if you don't use the -cc. So I'm going to just run it with cc, and the only difference is that this is now tmux, but it's controlled by iterm. So if I split a window, it will do it within tmux, but it is a tmux session. So now if I type control CE, actually that was for Postgres. You can see that it sends it over. And the way it works is if I just open up I'll open up a terminal instead of an iterm, the basic Apple terminal. If I type tmux send keys and I put okay, what I did was tmux send keys ls enter. And if I want to do something else like send keys and let's say echo hello, and then enter. Enter is a special word. It has to be in all caps, and then that will actually send over the carriage return. Oops. Yeah, you can see here that there was a problem because it sent over the keystrokes for echo and hello, but it's separated by a space here which gets ignored. So if I really wanted to send over echo hello world, and including the space, I have to put it in quotes. So now that works correctly. So the key to writing this in Vim is this command right here, tmux send keys. Okay, so let me show you the Vim script that makes it work. So if I open up my Vim script, okay, let me just open it full screen, and I'll show you the part of my script that actually does that. Well, actually, first let's go to the key mapping. So for my key mappings, I have CE here, and it calls sendkeys, and sendkeys is a function that I wrote. And getLines gets the current line. So if I type echo, I believe it's equal, is it echo, I think? Echo, I think, getLine. Okay. Okay, so you can see here that the current line that I'm on says no n no remap silent and CE whatever, and it actually echoed it out. So using the function getLine, it would get the text of the current line and pass that as an argument to send keys. So let's take a look at send keys. Send keys right here. Okay. So I have it. I'll write this from scratch so you can see how it's written, but you can see how it's coded. So send keys will take an argument, and this a colon here means that this is this variable cmd is an argument, so it's coming from here. And this v t-list, I believe that is the rest of the arguments here, I think. Yeah, it's been a while, so I'm not really sure. Now, actually, I'm not really sure what this v is here. I wrote it some time ago, so I'm not really quite sure. I think what it means is that, yes, okay, so it's comparing a type. So it's just saying that if it's a list, if it's not a list, then make it into a list. So this way the command is uniform. Okay, let's see what else. So argument 0, I think that is how, let's see, I believe that's how long the argument is. I'm not really sure. All right, so I guess like I'll figure it out when I write it from scratch, so we can kind of see. All right. Okay. There's some other things here that's kind of weird. Yeah, these are from some time ago, and I don't think that they're used now. These are, I believe, buffer variables. So in the scope of the buffer, and this is a variable in the scope of global. Yeah, so it was an experiment that I was trying out, but that was not the target pane. I could target a pane, but like it didn't really work that well for me. So let's see, colons, okay, dot. Okay, so I'm not going to include the target pane. Yeah, I don't ever use that anyway. It just becomes too confusing. Okay, so all right, so let's just start writing something here. So function, and I'll call it new. It has to start with a capital letter, new sendkeys, and I'll get the line, and see, end function. Okay, and instead of a C, I'll just make this temporary. Let's see, N, no remap. I guess DE, I guess. Okay. So DE, silent. Okay, let's just make it simple here, and then I'll add it in so you can see what the effects of those things are. So if I type DE, normally when you say D, that means to delete, but I'm just doing this temporarily. Okay, it's going to call new send keys and get line dot, and then it will do a carriage return. If you don't do the carriage return, then let me show you what happens. Now, okay, I saved it. I have it set up so that when I save it, automatically loads up my vimrc file. So now if I do DE, you can see that it did the colon, which brings it into the command mode, and it types this in, but without the carriage return, it doesn't execute it. So that's why you need to have the carriage return. I'm just press escape there. So the carriage return is necessary in order to work. So I believe I can do, let me save this. Okay. Let me just go like this and bring up a dummy file. Okay, just a.sql, let's say. And might as well just make this into SQL, so PSQL. All right. So let's see if I type DE now, nothing happens. That's because we really didn't make it do anything. So it's just an empty file. So the key here is I wanted to basically do tmux, send keys, and the line. Okay, in order to do that, it is, okay, we're going to, okay, let me just close this out and compare it to this. So the key part to this is, actually let's just split this up so this way is at the top here, so you can see it. Okay, I put a little space here so you can. This is where I'm going to add the code, and let's just extract the main part. The main part is sendkeys command, and it's a call to system. So we'll go here and say call system and give it this string, but I don't think this will work right away. Well, first off, you need to actually put enter at the end, so there's a character turn. So put enter there, and let's see if well, this won't work because now line is just part of the string, but let's just see what happens. So I am going to go to here and put DE, and it just says line, which is incorrect. Let me just reset that. Okay, so we want the actual value of the line. So in order to do that, I have to bring it out of the string and separate it with a dot. So I say dot line. That's how you concatenate strings in vimscript. Okay, so I save this and DE. Okay, it didn't work, and the error message it says undefined variable line. Okay, so this is a good example of why you need those prefixes. So now this is from the argument, so it's a colon. So this, now when I say a colon, it's referring to this line over here. Okay, so now I save it and DE. Okay, so far so good, except that there's something didn't go quite right. Okay, what happened is well, actually it's because of this the semicolon. It breaks this it breaks this command system call, because let me just break out over here for a second. If I say, for example, echo hello semicolon and foo bar like this, you could see that it only echoed up to the semicolon, right? And the foo bar here, it thinks that that's the next command. So that's the problem here, is that when I'm doing something in SQL, that semicolon needs to be escaped. So I need to, but if I were to, if it was just something else, like here's a shell, and then I put PS, let's say, or LS, and I do DE, that works fine, because it doesn't have a semicolon, which is messing this up. So we definitely need to escape this. And I think we'll also run into problems when there are quotes involved, because it doesn't, well, things need to be escaped in order to be read properly. So we're going to have to do all of that. So it's not quite as easy as it seemed at first glance. You'll end up with a lot of bugs. That's why the code looks kind of big. But basically, this one function is the crux of the the way it works. I'm not sure if I used that word correctly. Okay, so how do we escape it? So let's take a look at how I did it. Let's close this file and open this up. All right. So if I take a look at the line escaped. Okay, so here is escaped. So line escaped is using a function that's built into vimscript. There's shell escape and there's substitute. So let's see. So shell escape helps. Okay, so let's just do the shell escape first and see what that does. So before I start putting code on this part, I'm just going to put it here and say let line is equal to I'll call it line escape, just like how I have in the code, is equal to shell escape line. Okay, actually you can't just say line, you have to say a colon line. All right, so for that, and over here, instead of doing this, now I could say line escaped. Okay, so, oh, actually, before I do that, I want to show you what happens if it wasn't escaped. So I have like two versions of this, which is without the escape and with the escape. So let's go back to this file and echo quote hello and double quote there. Okay, so we have two things here that have quotes, and remember that this is a shell command that's being sent over, and that is going to be a string in quotes, and it needs to be escaped. So let's see if this works. Okay, so this didn't work, and that's because it didn't escape these quotes, and somehow, yeah, it's not handling it correctly. So we need to shell escape it. Okay, so now we just get rid of this, and so you see what happened. Now if we shell escape it, let's see what happens. I go back here and send it, and now the quotes are sent over correctly because it's escaped, and it'll when it unescape it, it'll be done correctly. But we still have the problem of semicolon. So let's put a semicolon right over here, and let's see if well, what should happen is that this whole line should have been sent, not just up to the semicolon. So that's the problem that we're trying to solve. So if I press DE, oh, it actually works. Oh, I think I know why. You see, if I think it has to do with the end, at the end over here. If I put that, see if that works. Okay, so okay, yeah. So that is one problem right now, is I'm actually sending it. I'm pressing DE, but nothing is being sent over, and somehow this semicolon is causing this to well, it just breaks it. So there's probably some error messages. Let's see. Messages. Okay. No, it's not over here. Okay. All right. So, but we do have this error. And the way to get around it is by escaping that semicolon. So, okay, actually, I wonder if I can put escape here like this to just see if this works. It probably won't, but let's see. Oh, it kind of did. So let's just, okay, let me do that. Okay, so there it is. So it works if I escape it. So what I need to do is do that ahead of time. So whenever I see a semicolon, I want it to replace it with a backslash. So there is that replace. Let's see what that function is called. Let's see. If I go back here, here's my line escaped. It's substitute. Okay, so there it is. Substitute. Just bring it back. All right. So I say line escaped is equal to substitute. Okay. Oh yeah, I should really have it in here. So basically it's the string and what I'm looking for and what to replace with. Okay, so let's just do this slowly. So line escaped, and I'm only, for now I'm just looking for semicolon, and I want to replace it with backslash semicolon. Okay, now here's the funny thing about this. You would think that this would work, but remember when it's in a string, the backslash also needs to be escaped, and so you need to have two of them in order to do this. So let's see if this works now. So I'm going to save this, and let's go to the, let's go to the other file. Okay. All right, and let's see if this works. Or let me just, okay, so the semicolon is the one that's causing the problem. All right, so I go here, and I have an error. It says error detected while processing the function, not an editor command. Okay, so I believe it's because of the let. I need to have it as a let. Okay, I think that makes it seem like it's an assignment statement. So let's try this again. So go back here. Okay, not enough arguments for function substitute. All right, so let's see what's going on with the substitute. I have 1, 2, 3, and let's just check to see if I type help substitute. I'm trying to do command. Okay. All right. So here's substitute. Oh, there is a fourth argument, and it's a flag. And let's see what flag I was using here. Oh, I was using an empty string as the flag. Okay. And also, you notice something else here that that's actually very interesting. That I wonder why there's a single quote. There must be a reason why I did this. I did this a long time ago, so I don't quite really know. All right, I guess I'll figure it out. So here I need to pass in a fourth argument, which is the flags, and there are no flags for this. So this should work now. Now if I go back to here and okay, so far it's almost working. Not quite. At least it's not throwing an error. And I believe the reason why is because of this backslash. This backslash needs to be sent, but I believe you have to escape it one more time because there's this extra layer of, like, first backslashes inside of a string needs to be escaped, but I believe for here, once it gets here, it needs to be escaped as well, so you have to do it twice. So that's why there's 4 of them, which looks pretty ridiculous when you take a look at this. All right, so let's see if that works. Oh, first I have to save it. Okay, so I saved it. All right. Oh, actually I have that echo in there. Let me just get rid of that. But you can see that now it's sent. So I do DE over here and it works. So far so good. And I think there is a problem here because if I have it here, select 2, for example. Okay, so if I do this and send it over, let's see if this works. Okay, it doesn't work. And the reason why I believe is because only the last one needs to be escaped, not the first one. The first one, if you escape it, you can see like I'm pressing DE and it's not. All right, so I have to put a $sign here. The $sign means that it shows up at the end of the line. Okay, so only, basically it's saying only escape the last one. So let's see if that works. Okay, that doesn't work. And let's see what happens if I put that single quote. This is interesting. Okay, so that's really interesting why why this thing is not working. So I am going to send it using CE, which is my current one, and that works. So you can see that it's sent over. So my current code actually does work when I do the CE, but for the DE it doesn't. So let's compare and figure out why it's not working. I'm trying to do Control-Shift-6. Oh, okay. All right, so let's see. So it sort of looks like this. The substitute, the command line, it looks for the semicolon. It has the quote, $, just like, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I see. I forgot the close quote. Okay, I see. Line escaped. This is interesting. So for some reason, there, oh, I believe, oh, I think I know why. Oh, let me just echo line escaped. Okay. And so when this runs, it'll print this. So this way, at least you can see what the string looks like. And I think the reason why is because when it does a shell escape, it puts single quotes around it. And I just want to verify that by printing it out. So let's see if that's the case. So if I go back to here and do DE, okay, it works now. But you can see at the bottom, I told it to echo line escaped, and you see that there are single quotes surrounding it. So when you do shell escape, it does put single quotes. So that explains why I put the single quote over here. All right, so that kind of explains it. And so I guess like when I did this a while ago, I probably had to debug it and figured out that there was this, it's surrounded by single quotes, and I have to include that in order to do the substitution. So that actually fixes the problem. And this is all you need if you wanted to just have a basic send keys for just one line. Okay, so let me just do this one more time. DE, it works. And if I just do one of them, it works. And if I do the other one, that also works. So that's pretty good. Okay, so if all you want is just to send over one line, this will do it. But the rest of the code adds extra functionality to it. So let's take a look at what I wrote. Let me just close this for now and take a look at this. Okay, I have CE and I have CP. So what CP does is get line, when you give it a dot, that means just the current line where you're at. But if you give it two arguments, which is the, this is interesting why there's a, oh yeah, okay. It's like a tick bracket, and this is a tick close bracket, a curly bracket. That indicates the range. So if I press, okay, I'm here right now. Let me just do this so that it wraps. Basically, I set the wrap so that you could see the full line. If I press left curly, open curly, it brings me here. And if I do right curly, it brings me here. So the range is, okay, let me turn it on. So I press capital V, and you can see that this is the range. So this is the range that, this will be the set of lines that it will be sent to send key. So basically, it'll be like an array of lines. So that's why I have this statement in the original code that says if the type is a list, if it's not a list, then make it into a list, because it could come in as a list of strings or a list of lines. Oh, this is also very interesting too. And I know what the purpose of this is, but we'll get to this. All right, so what I want to do is okay, so this fixes that bug so we can get out of SQL. Yeah, SQL was a very interesting problem because I send over SQL commands all the time. And when I did it the first time and it had a semicolon and I found a bug in it, it was very annoying, and I had to figure this all out. Because when you have a shell like this, you don't need a semicolon. So it took me a while to get to that bug. All right, so let's see what happens. Okay, so now we created DE. Oh, before we do DE, I want to show you something. Okay, so let me go back to a.sql. It's just a SQL file, but I'm just going to use it as a scratch pad. So if I type ls and press DE, you notice that it prints it out. It has a trail of what it did by doing the command over here. So what I want to do is I want to silence that. And I believe it is silent over here. So if I do that now, now if I do this, okay, let me clear it. I did Control L to clear everything. If I do DE, it still doesn't. Okay, so, oh, I think I know what this silent means. It has to do with the output. So I guess that is not necessary. Okay, for this it's not necessary. So I have two silents over here. I believe this silent means that it's not going to show me the output. But I wanted to say silent over here so I don't see the actual command. All right, so if I do that, let's see if that works. Yes. So if I do DE, you can see now it no longer shows it at the bottom over here. So that's what this silent is. Okay, so just to show you what this silent does, I'm going to let me just change this command for a little bit. So I'll still use DE, and I'll just say let's see, bang ls. Okay, and carriage return. All right. So just to show you, if I do bang ls, you can see that it shows me the output. And in order for me to continue, I have to press enter, and I'm back. And so it's kind of annoying if I just wanted to do something and it gives me output, and then I have to press carriage return. So so I have it as DE. So let me show you. If I do DE, you can see I have the output. I have to press carriage return. But if I put silent over here, save it, and do DE, then it executes it, but it doesn't show me the output, but more importantly, it doesn't prompt me. So that is the point of having silent. I believe for this purposes, it's okay to have, let me just bring it back. So it's okay for me to just say silent over here, but it's not necessary. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I want to do now DP, and no remap. Okay, let me explain a little bit about this n no remap. The n means that in normal mode. So when I press these keystrokes, DE, it's in normal mode. And you can see that it says it right here that I'm in normal mode, which means that it's out of the insert mode. If I press I, then I'm in insert mode. If I press escape, then I'm in normal mode. And normal mode is where I could just, move around like this. And so so that's what the first N means. And no remap means that whatever command I do, it's going to be, you notice that I have DE and I have some commands already mapped out. So when I'm defining something, I don't want to accidentally run those defined commands. So basically, when I say no remap means like just pretend like I don't have anything mapped and just do whatever is part of the system. So okay, but nothing that I defined. All right, because you can accidentally trigger something, and it'd be really hard to debug. Okay, so I wanted to do n no remap. We also want it silent, and we'll call it DP for, just like my CP, right? See, now I do call new send keys get line. Okay, and I say, oh, I have to use double quotes instead because I'm going to use single quotes on the inside. I believe the tick, all right, so I'll explain the tick. Okay, let me first finish this. Okay, and carriage return. Okay, so I'll explain what the tick is. So if I go to a place here, and let's do it over here because there's more lines over here. I type MA, that marks that will mark this position. So if I want to go to that position, then I say tick A, and it'll go right there. So when I say tick curly, then it'll go right there. But in this case, curly would have also gone there. That makes me wonder. I wonder if it's totally necessary to have these ticks to begin with. Let's just try it without the tick and see what happens. Okay, so I saved it, and the code isn't going to work because, well, let's just see what happens. I am going to, okay, so I'm just going to do two commands, ls and pwd. I'm going to highlight using oh, actually, I just realized something else too. I said end no remap, but that's not quite correct. No, actually, it is correct. It is correct because I'm basically what I'm going to do is I want to send the paragraph. So anything that's separated by new lines. So if I have something like, what's another command that I can use? PS. Okay. So if I do DP, I want it to just have ls and pwd and not ps, and I'll just put a ps over here. Or just an echo hello. How about that? Echo hello. In case we accidentally get there. Echo hello. Okay. So let's see what happens if I do DP here. Okay. So nothing. All it did was sent out the carriage return, but it didn't send over the string. It says here, error detected while processing function, new send keys, using list as a string. And that's exactly what we were expecting the error to be. So let's go there and correct that. So what I wanted to do is basically turn it into a for loop. And you can see here's the for loop here. And so now when the line is coming in, it's going to be a list. So instead of doing it this way, now we say for line in, okay, so now it's like saying line is going to be confusing because the first time it was one line, but now it's a list of lines. So instead, I'll just say CMD, which is just commands. Maybe it's a poor choice of variables, but okay. Maybe I should just say lines. Okay, no, let's just do command. And I believe it's and it says N4. Okay, and we just need to put that, surround that, and just indent this. Okay, so the other thing too is that now it's no longer the argument line. It's just going to be line like this. Okay, and oh, we can't say command. We have to say a command because that we have to refer to this as the argument. All right. So let's save this, and I'm going to trigger it, DP, and it doesn't work. Okay, nothing happened. Just interesting. So let's just put some echoes in here. So echo line. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's really interesting. It doesn't work at all. Okay, let's see if I, oh, okay. So it's probably because we do need to put quotes here. So yeah, I think it's because when getLine is very particular. So, okay, so I suppose that you can look up the help pages for getLine to see exactly what they take. So probably those ticks are really necessary. So now let's try it again. I save this and DP, and it sent it. Okay, so you can see that it started from the top and went to the bottom, but it also included the empty lines. So what we want to do is we want to filter out the empty lines. We don't want to send over blank lines. So that's where the other part of the code comes in. Oh, I'm trying to get access to the window, but I realize it's because I need to press enter to continue. So those things are kind of annoying. All right, so so going back here, we can take out this echo line. Okay, and okay, so how did we do that? So this is where this line comes in, and let's see, argument 0. No, I don't think it's this one. No, I think it is this one. A0. So I wonder if like help. I wonder if this is going to show anything. Oh, it does. Okay, so what does this mean? In the function, the extra argument can be used as the extra arguments. Okay, so oh, I see. It's part of the dot dot dot. Okay, all right, I'm trying to figure out what the a colon means. In the function, the extra can be used. Okay, so oh, it says right here, a0 is set to the number of extra arguments, which can be 0. Okay. Oh, I think so. Basically, so it's just the number of arguments when I do dot dot dot. I think I was experimenting with passing extra flags in here, and this is okay. So I believe that I don't need to do this. I don't need to check for a0. That was like an experiment I was trying. I think like let's see if here there are like these send keys. Oh, I see over here. So for send keys, for this one, I pass in a 1, and I am okay. So basically, what this is doing is it's just a condition to say like it's just a little flag that I sent when I'm doing it this way, and this way is a little bit different. But let's concentrate on this. So it looks like for our purposes, we don't need to have that a colon at all. So let's just okay. I can close this. Okay, so let's just take that and okay, it is the filter. So what we want to do is okay, we do it over here right before we okay, if we're going to do it here, we're going to have this command, and so we no longer use the argument that comes in. We're going to be using this one, which is going to be modified. So we're going to filter the arguments command. Actually, okay, well, yeah, we'll just do it incrementally. I was gonna do some extra stuff, but let's just do this part. Okay, and the command is if the length of the value. So the way this is set up. Okay, let me just finish this. Greater than 0. And let's see, trim vval. Let's see, does not equal to. Oh yeah, and also this not equal to. I have ligatures turned on, so it looks a little bit confusing. But this is a not. There's an exclamation point equal, and it just shows it like that, but it's actually stored as like not equal to quote. Wow, this is really interesting. Backtick, backtick, backtick. Okay, I don't even know what that is, so let's just not include that. Oh, I know what that is. Yes, I know what that is. I added that because sometime when I'm doing Markdown, I have something like let's see, backtick foo bar like this. And this is in Markdown, and you can also have something like SQL or whatever the type is. And for that, I wanted to make sure that those get filtered out as well when it sees like the triple backticks. But that's like extra credit, really. So let's just ignore that because that's what that's for. Okay, so we don't need that, and this is the only thing that we need for now. Okay, so basically what this is, okay, I have to tell you what this is. So because filter is running through each element of the list, each element of the list is going to be represented by v and val. So it's a variable val. And so we're just testing to see if the length is greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, then we're going to accept it. So basically, it has the effect of stripping out all those empty lines, which means that if you have a space over here, if I go here and actually, yes, over here, if I have a space over here, that would mean that it would also be included. So it has to be really a blank line with no spaces in it. Okay, so let's just see if that works. Okay, so I saved this. So let's see if that works. So now I'm here, and I press DP. Okay, I'm going to press DP one more time. And you can see that it really did work because the command was ls pwd, and there's ls and pwd, and there's no extra carriage returns like the way it had before. So that takes care of that. And the other thing that I wanted to do was, what if you have a whole section like from here to here? Actually, let's just say from here, and I highlighted it. I pressed capital V and do this, and I wanted to press C, or D in this case, because I already have C mapped. If I press the key, actually D is really not a good choice because D would, then I won't be able to delete. But actually, it's fine. Well, it's only temporary. Well, maybe I should just change it to a different letter. Like, almost all the letters are pretty much taken up, so yeah, it's no good choice. Anyway, oh, actually, I could probably do C and just comment out the other C. Anyway, so we have DE working and we have DP working, and if we wanted to highlight this and send over like whatever is highlighted, then we have, okay, let's just do that, and we'll call it D, and we won't. Okay, so this time instead of N no remap like this, it's actually V no remap, because you're in visual mode when you want this thing to be triggered. And again, you want it silent, and once it's highlighted, you can just, I just want to press D for now, and then it'll call new send key. Oh, actually, before I do that, there is a bug. Okay, so the bug is with DE. So let's just do DE again here, DE. Oh, actually, it almost worked. Okay, there's an error message here saying that the argument filter must be a list. So there's the errors. And I was expecting this because we changed the type. So when we changed the type because we were assuming now command is a list. But it's only a list if we send it with DP. But now with DE, it is, we have to convert it. So so that's where this part comes in, the type. If the type of CMD is not T-list, if it's not a list, and if, then we want to say let CMD is equal to, and we just make it a list of that one command. So now, even when you do DE, it'll be treated as a list. So let's see if that works. So if I do DE here, oh, there's still an error. Let's see what the error is. Undefined variable CMD, of course, because it's not CMD. Oh, where am I? Okay, it's not CMD. it is a colon CMD. Okay, and because it's the argument, we have to refer to the argument because CMD doesn't exist. We're defining it over here. All right, so let's just do that, and we go here and we do DE again. Okay, it's almost working, but still, it's almost working because it actually did something, but it threw an error. Arguments of filter must be a list, dictionary or blob. Oh, okay, I see why. We forgot something here because we chose a.command here, so every place else we need to make sure it's just command. Okay, there's no other place. Okay, great. So I think that should take care of that. So DE, oh, it works perfect. DE, okay, so DE again. So now we have this thing working for just one line versus a list of lines. Okay, so that was the one bug I wanted to fix first before we do the other one. So for this, where were we? Okay, so we wanted to do vn no remap. Sorry, vn, okay, v no remap, not vn no remap. V no remap, silent, and we want to be triggered when we press a C. And we wanted to call new send keys get line, and to mark the beginning and the end of the, okay, let's see here. I believe, yeah, you have to do tick the beginning of the selection to the quote end of the selection, and we do a carriage return. Okay, so I think we're set, and if this works, then we're pretty much done. And I believe that yeah, this code is sort of like an evolution of me modifying it and adding new features and then refactoring. So if I get this thing working, then I guess this will be my new updated code. All right, so let's see if this works. So I'm going to highlight all the way here, and I press C. Okay, we have some errors here. It says error detected while processing send new keys undefined variable CMD. Oh, that's really interesting. Undefined variable CMD. Let me see if DP works. Oh, DP is broken. Oh, all right. So let's see. Undefined variable CMD. All right. Oh, I know why. It's because we do a let CMD here. Okay, so let CMD is equal to a colon CMD. The reason why is because CMD is only defined here. I guess like I could have put an else clause here and just do let CMD is equal to a colon CMD. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Okay, I'll just do that. So if it is not a list, then make it into a list. Otherwise, let CMD be equal to the argument that was passed in. Okay, so this should work. Okay, so let's see if I do DP again. Okay, DP works. Okay, so that fixed the problem. The other way that I could have done it was just to put this at the top over here, and then just refer to this. But I guess this way is just as good. Okay. All right, so we have that. So yeah, okay. So DP works, and I highlight this and it was, you highlight it and press C. Okay, so I think that worked, but that's actually interesting behavior here. Okay, I'm just going to do echo 1, echo 2, echo 0, okay, and then C. Okay, oh, this is really interesting. What's interesting is that it did it multiple times. Okay, so that is unexpected. So let's see why it did it multiple times. Okay, so let's take a look at my original code to see what I did. Where is it? Trim, that doesn't have anything to do with it. I did pass an argument. Okay, Oh, I see. Um, see, could be the filter. All right. So I think I need to. Oh, why? This has me. This has me puzzled. Why did? Why do passing it the selection? Here's the selection. I call it. Oh, actually, let's. I called it differently. I see. It's because CU. Oh, I think I know what this is. I believe that when, okay, so control U. Let me just do a help on control U. So I think it's like help control U, help control U. Okay. So I think it has to do with the universal argument because when, let me see, oh, I have to like Google this now. So if I, okay, oh, colon U. Okay, so let me just see. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to do a Google search first, see what's going on. All right. Okay, so so I found a Google page here. Okay, why do some Vim mapping include control U after a colon? And it says here, um, oh, I get it. Okay, okay, I understand. All right, so let's go back. So the reason why it's repeated is because this, when you specify a range, when it's in visual mode, okay, so over here, when it's in visual mode, it will call this for each line. So I have, let's say I have 4 lines that I selected. So for each line, it sends over this new send keys, get line, such and such. So what I want to do is basically reset this. So basically telling it, don't include the range. So it will only call it once. That was really tricky. So I need a control U in order to make this thing work. Otherwise, it'll apply to each line, which is not what we want to do. Oh, actually, oh, that is actually very interesting because maybe I do want it to call it for each line. Yes, I can, yeah, this will work. So I can just say get, if I just put a dot here, then this should work because now it will be called for each line. And yes, Okay, because we know that this works for a dot. So let's see if this works. If that works, that really simplifies a lot of things. So I don't have to make it look so messy with this Control U. All right, let's see if that, oh, I have this terminal still there. I guess I could quit that. Okay, so I'm back here, and what I'm expecting now is if I highlight echo 0 all the way to 1, now if I press C, D, oh, actually I put it as C. Okay, that's not going to work. The reason why C is not going to work is because I already, oh, actually I put it as leader C. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so maybe I should have done, no, let's just put it as D. Okay. Well, I'll fix the mappings up later. Okay, so if I do that right now, I already, okay, all right. So now I'm going to highlight and I press D, and that does work. So yes, I don't need to use the send it the range and this to cancel out. So it'll do it for each line, and for each line it will get the current line. And you can see that 0, 1, 2 worked. One thing that it didn't do, which may be a problem, is that it didn't include a carriage return. So there's an empty line here. And let's say that I wanted to include the empty line. No, it still won't work. I think this is good for now, because the reason is because this filter here always removes the removes empty lines, and I'm okay with that. But if I wanted to include empty lines, I can pass in an argument, and that's what that is. So I could pass in a flag. So let's do that. So for this one, if I want to include the empty line, I would go back here and let's put an argument 1, just something so it's there. And now I have a way to distinguish it. So I'll put ... because it may or may not be there. And the way to catch that is, I believe, that 0, argument 0. It's the count of how many there are. So so this filtering, oh, so that's why I have it there. But it has some extra stuff. Okay, so if there is no argument, I mean after the command, then I want to do this and just end if. But otherwise, we're just, so if there is an argument, so it could have been any value, then, okay, so that should take care of that. Let's see if that works. I'm going to clear the screen over here so that we can, okay. All right, let's just do that. So if I highlight this, press D, yes. So that now it includes it. And just to make sure that the others still work, I could do DP, and that sends over 1 and 2, echo 1 and 2. So I believe that's all there is to it. And just showing you the code, it's not a lot of code, but you can see that this is the whole code. And now you're able to just send over, oh, actually, before I do that, this is really not a good way to do it, because I do want to be able to delete and see. If I do C over here, maybe I want to change. Actually, I had it set before, but probably a better way to do it, if I want to have the old behavior of D, I would have to say leader. Now leader is interesting. I have a map leader set to space, so in normal mode, in order to trigger it now, okay, in order to trigger it now, I would have to say, I would highlight it and leader, so space D, and that should trigger it, and there it goes. So, so that's, but by default, I believe leader is escape, and I prefer to use space because it's just a lot easier to press, because it's just a space bar, versus escape where you have to reach for the escape. So I like to set the map leader to a space. Just very convenient. And this way, I have to restart the my Vim because I already overwrote the my D under visual mode. But that's it. So with these 3 lines, now you're able to send over stuff from your Vim to your terminal, your tmux. Yeah, don't forget that this was all under tmux. So hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.